All right, YouTube land. I was initially going to try and make this a YouTube short, but I can't orient the phone with the mount for that, so it may or may not be a minute long, but we'll put it up as a regular thing. So we're getting some forward progress done on the ruined terrain set for AO. This is the urban expansion sets for it. So right now we're looking at the burrows. So burrow set will come with two of these type of buildings. So one with the front, one without. So we've got these that are not my favorite from the set, but pretty cool nonetheless for what they'll get done. And then we've got the ruined innards that go in here, and I've designed it so that like when these slide on, shoop, get a nice positive kind of feel to it. And then I painted it so the decals are, I mean, slightly off, but pretty close. So, you know, if you were to remove the destroyable thing, it still looks like, you know, what it was. So pretty neat. The set for this one's gonna have 4 buildings. So one of this one. And then 2 big ones, which I'll show in a moment. They're not fully finished being assembled. But my thoughts are for games of war or Battletech Alpha Strike. If you're using the destroyable terrain rules, dude's up here, you blow the building up, he falls down. Or if there's garrison infantry in here, you can blow it up. Or if you're a gamer on a budget, instead of getting 4 interactive terrain pieces, you just split it up into 8 pieces, 4 ruins and 4 buildings, so that you can fill up your tables if you're on a budget. So a little bit of flexibility here. The other expansions for the urban sets, this is the burrows. I'm going to have the municipal buildings, so we'll have some police stations. I think there's 3 in that set, and then the fire stations 2. And then if this does well, I've got some other ideas for things I would like to design. So this has been a long time coming. I think this is going to be a nice product for Battletech Alpha Strike, which is what I designed it for. I know that we're going to have probably some grogs who get in the comments who are asking me about scaling. I'm aware this is on the larger side. I like playing Alpha Strike with larger buildings. If this breaks your immersion, it may not be for you, but also just assume that in the far future where, or maybe depending on where you look at it, near future, or we've got big stompy robots with fusion engines and energy laser rifles and lightning ball shooters, PPCs, that we could have super gigantic city buildings instead of small ones. So perhaps each one of these is, you know, a floor or multiple floors. So if each one of these windows represented 1 to 2 floors, let's say it's 2, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So let's say this is 11 stories tall, right? You know, 100 and something feet. Pretty sizable building. So obviously in real life, that's not what these are, but you know, use whatever excuse you need to suspend your beliefs and jump into an imaginary world. But my thoughts are, with this being slightly larger, it's functional on the table. If this was scaled to Battletech map scale, these would be super, super tiny, and the destroyable thing doesn't matter. And with these being the way they are, you can still have some models in here moving around, and if you and your opponent come to an agreement, you know, walk through here, just can't stop here, that type of thing. So it is functional. But the other benefit to it being larger is that it might split the difference, where this could be useful for some other games that are in the 6 to 12 mil scale, maybe even a little bit higher if you aren't worried about it being 100% accurate. So there's some versatility here. I think there's some historical board games for urban combat that might benefit from this, that might be close in scale. So food for thought. So we've got 2 of the same building here. I just put different decals on them, you know, to differentiate a little bit. So when I do the product photography for the website, I wanted to have variety. So I did 2 of everything for photography. Here is the other type of city building. Get that lined up. Trying to do this with the camera, not the easiest thing. Boom. This is my favorite of that pairing. Let's see, destroy. Really, really fun. The paint job on these was not too hard either. I used, obviously, airbrushes and stencils, but I used the Dirty Down stuff from Goblin's Hut. Really good for weathering. I also used some contrast paints for additional streaking. So, pretty nice. Nice feel to it. These bits are optional. You can put them wherever you want. You'll notice that in these 2 of the same buildings, I kind of put them in different spots. So, the set will also come with some of these that you can put wherever you want. I usually like to have these little parts up here where you can kind of notch that on there, so it gives it a little tactile place so it doesn't move too much. You can also glue it down if you want, but I like to leave those removable. So like if I'm using the same buildings, like if I've got a pair of these, I can kind of differentiate a little bit. So on the tabletop, you know, that one looks a little bit different than this one now, or I put one over here, you know, or wherever. So when it comes to these larger style buildings like this one, I like having the dual here because there's a double pair, and it gives that even more of a positive lock in one direction. So, but you can see where if you have a pair of these, this really does change kind of the profile a little bit. So nice little feature. The the buildings for the police station, and I don't think the fire department, but the police station has like a little helipad thing for landing on top, which is pretty neat. So this one has, let me find it. I was working on these yesterday before I left work. It's got the front drop-in. I was waiting on additional acrylic for the windows, so these aren't fully finished, which is why these aren't attached yet. But we've got the destroyable portion of this as well, and I really like the size. It takes up a good amount of the table. And you got the decals on there as well, but pretty nice, blam, and super useful and nice playable area. This one in particular, you can have a mech stand here or deployed infantry, whatever. So this makes for really nice functionality for garrisoned units, because you can actually, with your infantry, get inside the building and then have a reason to use the destroyable terrain. And again, you know, pop that up there if you want, or over here. And like I said, we've got a second one of these that I'm working on painting up for photography for the set as well. So when we do the large photo shoots with lots of units and mechs and stuff, we've got a variety on the table. So I do think that in this particular case, if I was recommending these 2-in-1 to pick up for their games, I'd probably recommend 2 sets of this, and then probably 1 set of the municipal buildings for the police stations and fire departments, maybe 2 of the fire departments, because it's a smaller set. It's only like 2 buildings. So, and then to round out the set, we have got the kind of splitting the difference between these, or adding these 2. We've got this size building, and it's got these, which again have not been glued on yet because no windows. I had to cut the acrylic, so that'll be going on as soon as this video is done. But I like this one. Same concept with these little gizmos. You can put them wherever you want. They're not required. You don't have to put them on. And the sets come with a bunch of those parts. And then you can drop one of these on. So if you have 2 of these buildings, you get some differentiation between the 2, which what I would like to do is plop one like up here, and then maybe put one down here on that. This guy here, there's like a little door on there. So you've got kind of 2 different silhouettes. And then when you're painting these, if you airbrush your bricks or paint your bricks a different color, you can get some nice variants on the tabletop. I just went with red because it looks nice. In hindsight, I probably should have done half red and then half like a brownish color. But, you know, hindsight's 20/20. And so here is the ruins that goes in on. Bam. Pretty good. And then a little spot where infantry could probably stand, or a mech you could probably notch in there. Not a lot of playable surface on the ruined elevations here. I didn't want it to be super choked with that. Also, like, it would have just been a pain in the butt to get all these to where one thing could fit on each level, because then this one I have to jut out further and further and further. So some opportunities, not a huge amount, but lots of opportunities for large space here for mechs and things to move, using this as like rough terrain, which would be pretty cool. And then I really like the decals and the grime, so that when we put this on here, you know, I guess I could add the streaks a little bit better here, but like doing the streaks and getting that organic and looking right to match on the ruined ones was not the easiest, but it works pretty close. And then, like I said, we have got the last one that I'm working on as well. And this little guy here, and there's something satisfying about like sliding these in there. Really cool. So I'm talking to Austin from DRD about working with me to make some more graffiti style decals, because this was only represents 4 buildings, unique buildings, 8 here obviously, and I've blown through most of the graffiti and poster stuff that I have, and I don't want every building to be samey. I tried to use different decals on every one of them, because you don't want to have this smiley face thing on every building. Well, a tagger's not going to do the same exact thing. It's going to have variants. So I'm looking for that. In hindsight, I probably should have something down here. But that said, pretty jazzed about these. Like I said, the tactile nature of them I think is really cool, and it's going to make for a fun set. So keep your eyes peeled. I think I might actually, because this is my first, my first major expansion to AO that's taken forever, I might see if Austin's interested in doing like a pre-order bundle or something for patrons and YouTube supporters who want to get in early and get a deal. I think that would be pretty cool. So we'll see. The support from you guys is, as always, is much appreciated. And as this goes forward, if this does well, I might be able to work in some more time to do more designs, because I have a folder full of reference images of buildings and things that I like, and I would like to do more. Like, I really think it'd be cool to do a nice big hospital style building for this that's destroyed and has multiple like wings and stuff. That'd be pretty cool. But we got to see how it sells. I can be super jazzed about it, but if the community doesn't show up because they don't see value or they think it's cool but not worth buying, well then, you know, we'll shift our focus elsewhere. So for anyone in this video here who's watching, who also happens to play Steel Rift, this will work perfect with Steel Rift. And we have some optional rules coming out in the new. Actually, beta rules are going up soon for people to see the new compilation rules as they're developing. There's going to be optional rules for different terrain, destroyable terrain, how this will impact the game. So these were built for Alpha Strike, but also we have adapted the rule set moving forward for Steel Rift to be able to use the concept that I had for these buildings in our in-house game as well. So that said, for anyone who's made it through this video that initially was going to be YouTube short and now is pushing 11 minutes, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you guys being ride or die fans and supporting what I do, even if the content's not flowing as frequently or as fast as I want. Got plenty of things I want to try and do in the future. Just bear with me. Appreciate your support. As always, keep painting your models, keep rolling your dice, maybe pick up some terrain for your war games, and I'll catch you guys next time.